Actually, Marcy, will you tell us a little bit about how you came into photography?
Sure. So I go into the story on my video because I think it was really important to describe my journey as a photographer, because the video that Tamara made, I had a specific goal, and that was to elevate my brand and to let people know that I just didn't just pick up a camera and start promoting myself 6 months in. My grandfather was a photographer, and I inherited cameras from him, so I learned at an early age, and I had a background in marketing. So what I've done is I've combined my marketing background with my photography, and now I do marketing photography for entrepreneurs. And that was part of what I used this video to lay the groundwork, because I really felt like I needed to stand out from my competition.
And in that video, it's cool to say, because I know that those of you that were here yesterday, we talked a lot about like story and our why and like things that have inspired us to do what we do and love. And I know part of that is your inspiration based from your grandfather, right? Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, he had these awesome cameras.
Yeah. So my grandfather was a portrait photographer. He had a photo studio in Pittsburgh, and then World War II came about, and just like pretty much everyone in his generation, they got recruited into the war. So he was recruited as a photographer. So he was also learned to be a pilot. So he would fly over enemy territories and actually photograph the kind of like what satellites would do today. And he used his photography in the war, and then he came back home and continued his portrait photography business. So that was a huge inspiration for me, because I would go, by the time I came into the world, he was mostly retired, but he had a dark room in his house. It was really cool to kind of see the dark room process. And for all of us in this room, we're old enough to know about the dark room process, but that's such a lost art. So it's really cool that I think I'm probably one of the last generations that was taught how to develop, because I took the high school and college classes where they actually had dark rooms. And today I go and mentor high school students, and they pretty much don't teach darkroom photography. It's all digital, and I don't use darkroom photography anymore. But it was really cool. Now I consider myself really lucky that I was like one of the last people that got to learn that, because digital didn't exist back in the 90s when I was first learning.
You secretly have a darkroom in your garage, right?
My darkroom is now my computer.
That's awesome. Well, I love what you do, because it's very complementary to what we create for people.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like the side of being able to tell the story and the brand through visuals and photography versus being able to bring high quality visuals through story life through video. So I appreciate you just being here, and
thanks for having me.
For everything.
And just like having a really good video, people just know it. When they see a good video, they know, okay, this isn't something that you filmed in your living room. You actually had someone else holding the camera, and especially because you use a lot of drone footage. And Tam, who was running around here today, yesterday, sorry, he'll be back tomorrow. He literally runs around with his camera, and that's his style. And you can tell you don't have to be a videographer to know when you're seeing a high quality video. And that's I think
the movement, the emotion, the actual equipment like that we use. So we have gimbals, which are moving rigs that you can basically do. With the shoot that we did with you, so Tam's out there with the gimbal, and he's going down on the skateboard. You're like thinking, how did he get that shot? And then we're getting behind the scenes of Tam, woo, down the hill.
Yeah, that was amazing. So you could, he's using a skateboard as opposed to like a high-end rig, but he has a gimbal, so it looks.
He has the rig in hand, and
looks like
he's
a Hollywood. Looks like a Hollywood shot.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's just being able to mobilize it with our company, being able to have high quality gear that doesn't necessarily have to be the huge movie set rigs where they do the purpose. They're still professional rigs, but they're mobile, so that you're able to strap them on. You can put on vests, you can do whatever. You can strap them on. All of a sudden you're on a skateboard. Wear knee pads while you go. But I know from, you told me a great story though once, after you had actually placed the video on your website. I know you're big on like SEO and things like that. So are we. We actually had a gal literally contact Danielle like 3 days ago that was a luxury fine dining, basically catering company that catered to private jets. And Danielle's first question was, how did you hear about us? And she said, Google, you were on the top of the page. Wow. So, and that's what we've been working with SEO the last year. So when you're blogging and you're doing other stuff like that, we actually have blogs on our site We post new content every month, but that's one form of way to do it. Obviously, there's other ways to do with keywords and stuff like that. But you had mentioned a gal specifically found you. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yep, sure. So SEO is hugely important to me because I live here in San Diego, so I do all of my search engine optimization, like specifically to San Diego. So I come up, when you search on my keyword terms, I definitely come up at the top. And so someone had found me and they said so literally the video did exactly what I wanted it to do. And she said to me, oh, I was looking around at other photographers, but I saw the video you had on your About Me page, and that just made me want to call you. And I couldn't have asked for a better result, and it literally did that. And that's just someone who decided to tell me that. I'm sure that happens a lot, and I use it in my signature file, so whenever I send out an email, I put a link to the YouTube video. So what happens when you send out an email is that actually it looks like an attachment. It actually puts the screenshot of the video. When you link to YouTube, it's funky. I don't know why.
Yep.
But
Like a thumbnail pops up?
Yeah, the thumbnail. Yes. Thank you. I wasn't using my words properly.
So I got you.
So and every single email I send out, it comes in the footer of my email. So people, and I learned that from someone else because
it intrigues people to click.
Exactly. Yes. And it's like, oh, she's got a professional video. Like she's pretty elevated.
It's like almost your digital business card when you're sending your emails out to people, especially when you're reaching out to people for the first time. They're like, who's this person? And I can automatically link back and they're like, oh, this is enticing. It just gives you another option for people to click on your video to watch your story, your professional video. Yes. So that's amazing. Yeah, because we've had a lot of people. Felicia that was here yesterday, I don't see her in the room this morning, but she had stepped up and said that she has had people reach out to her in the sense of like, yeah, like they ended up choosing to work with her because they watched her story and her professional video versus doing the research of come across two people. Who are you going to work with? The person that has the personality,
yes,
that's passionate about what they're doing, that knows what they're doing.
Yes. Yes.
So
in my industry, actually, the barrier to entry is pretty low. I mean, in this day and age, you just need to buy a camera, and there's a lot of people that do that, and they think that I'm just gonna put my label out. I'm a professional photographer because a couple people told me I should be. So the barrier to entry is so low in my industry. I'm really competing with a lot of people that I don't think that their quality is that great. I'm not being
really
judgy.
Good at Instagram, but they don't know how to use a camera.
Exactly. So, for me, it's like, okay, I know what I'm competing with. The market is pretty full. So it really helps to have that video.
That's awesome.